Shalom, welcome. Welcome to the first in a series of videos that I've been asked to give some context to some of the Jewish yearly cycle events for your students and for their families. It's kind of fitting that we're starting here because we're actually in the middle of nowhere. We have, as a people, have just left Mitzrayim, our place of narrowness where we were slaves, and that was observed through Pesach, through Passover. And we are not quite at Shavuot, Mount Sinai, when we are going to get, where we are going to be given the Torah by God. And here we are. We have just left Egypt, Mitzrayim, all of a sudden no longer slaves, in the middle of wilderness, and running out of food and water. We find ourselves at a lake that is stagnant. It is so stagnant that we try to drink it and it's bitter. In fact, we call it Lake Maror, the lake of bitterness. And there we camp. Moses, gets a message from Hashem, from God, saying that take the leaves next to the lake, put it in the lake will become fresh. And in the same dream, he tells Moshe to tell the people to go and find food from under the plants, from around the lake, and for the first 5 days, get exactly the amount that you need. An Omer, he says. An Omer of food. Just enough. Exactly the amount that you need. And on the 6th day, get enough for the 6th and the 7th. Double portion. 2 portions, because the 7th day, of course, is going to be Shabbat, and no one is supposed to be working on Shabbat. It's a day of ceasing to do regular business. And this is indeed what happens. Moshe goes and tells the people, put the plants in the water. The plants purify the water. Instantly they have water. And for the food, they go out and they pick just enough, an Omer, just enough what they need for that day. And it sustains them for the day. Now, of course, there are those who went out and picked more because they were frightened, not because they were greedy, but they were frightened that the food wouldn't be there the next day. And those people, they ended up their food that they didn't use to sustain themselves for that day, it went bad. And they weren't able to eat it the next day. But they did go out again and get an Omer the next day. And this is how we sustained ourselves, getting an Omer. It's a fascinating unit of measure because it is not a unit of measure that is physical. It's a unit of measure that is philosophical. And that's the takeaway for your kids and your families. That during this time between Pesach and Shavuot, it's 49 days, we're counting the Omer. We're focusing on the Omer. And what we can do with our students and with our families is that we can have exercise and activities about what would be the right amount for that particular person or that particular family to have of anything, whether it be food, water, shelter, clothing, games, video games, love. What's the Omer of it? Because too little is not good and too much is not good. So that's the takeaway. Find things in your curriculum that you can measure, and it's not just the measure of it's a liter or a gram or anything like that, but it's as much as will sustain you. Eat an Omer of your lunch. Not the whole lunch maybe, and not too little. An Omer, use the phrase. And see how it permeates the way that we think. We take just enough to sustain ourselves. No more, no less. And just as an aside, we gain our freedom at Passover when we leave Mitzrayim, leave Egypt. And we get a purpose for that freedom at Shavuot, at Mount Sinai. But the process between going from freedom without purpose, which is chaos, to purpose, that process, a lot of it has to do with finding out what, in so many different aspects of our lives, is our Omer. Enjoy, and there'll be more in this series. Take care, and enjoy your kids and enjoy your work. Shalom.